Today we are going to discuss about Avaya OD or AEP 7.2.3, 8.0, 8.1 direct integration with Google CCAI, which is nothing but Dialogflow ES and CX. Uh, this Google CCAI integrations came in the month of December last year, 2021, and still now it is making quite a lot of noise. It's a little bit complicated process, so I would like to demonstrate how we can do the integration. Before moving on, let's understand the high level architecture they have given. Okay, so let's say customer calls, there is a SVC, we can ignore the SVC. AEP. So now once the calls come to AEP, there is a CM and SM is there. If you need more details about the various component of AEP we use, there is another video I have created. Watch that. Now, so what happens is in the AEP we install ASR, which is Dialogflow ASR. Now the Dialogflow ASR works on top of gRPC protocol, which is Google Real-Time Protocol they have created, which is open source. You can use it. Now what happens is ASR makes a connectivity with Dialogflow, and Dialogflow will respond back to you the responses, and these communications goes to and fro uh, till the time it reaches the end of conversation. By default we have two Avaya component given. One is directly the MPP VXML, which we can use, which also works fine, and there is also OD project given in all the versions like 7.2.3, 8.0, 8.1 if you want to use the OD side of integration. So both integration works fine, perfectly okay. We have tested it out. Now, what is the step number one? Okay, so as I said, we required a Dialogflow ASR. Okay, now Dialogflow ASR is required this many additional license port to be installed in your AEP. These details are specific to version number 8, AEP 8, for 8.1, 8 or 7.2.3 version. Just check the family. Okay, I have given the family name so that you can identify or you can contact your infrastructure team who handles the AEP to get installed. Okay, so once you installed, this is the step one completed. Okay, now there is a step number two. Now, what you have to do, you have to contact NPI operations avaya.com. Let me little bit zoom in so that I can explain more. Okay, so where is my mouse cursor? Here it is. Okay, now over here, what we have to do, so they will give you this is the Excel format they will give in which you have to enter the details. So what is they are doing right now is Avaya is whitelisting your GCP project ID to allow voice call. Right now, you can make a dialog flow call through API, through text, everything is fine, right? But to have the real-time communication using gRPC, you need to whitelist your current GCP project where you have created a Dialogflow project to be whitelisted. And this is the project. That's why it is a partner level access you require to explore this integration, right? Even if you don't have a direct partnership with Avaya, you can buy the license from Avaya with respect to the ASR and tell Avaya to whitelist your GCP on behalf of them. Oh, sorry, on behalf of you. Okay. Now, what are the things we required? So there are only four entries which we have to give. Actually, it's a three. Okay, so what is the things we have to give? First is the CI/CD stage name. You can give any name, it doesn't matter. I can give dev, prod, test, etc, whatever. Okay. Now, second is the customer GCP project ID. Okay. Now, what is customer GCP project ID? Okay, so let me go to browser. Can you see my project over here? Yeah. So over here, this is the project ID. I'm giving the example with respect to Dialogflow CX. and same is for the Dialogflow ES. Okay, so this is the project ID which you have to give in that Excel. So going back to the Excel, okay, where is my mouse handle? Okay, now what is the authorizer email handle? So let's say if you are working for a particular client, or if you are working for your own company where you need this integration, right? So you give your official email details so that once it is approved by Avaya, they will give you access to download a service account. Excuse me. Now, what is G Suite? You can ignore this thing. This is not required. If your company is in G Suite, like using Gmail as their official email communication instead of Outlook, right? So you will have this. If you don't have, don't worry about it. Leave this field as empty. So let's say test is the environment name, GCP project ID. I show you where to get it, and your email ID. Okay. Now, once you send this to NPI operation aware.com, they usually take 2 to 3 days to respond back that okay, Google has whitelisted your particular project ID. Okay. Now, what they will give you is they will give you a Avaya GCP service account. Okay, and a link to download the Avaya GCP service account, and you can download it only using the same email ID which is you have mentioned over here. So what it will give you, it will give you a Google Cloud Platform page URL, where if you logged in with your this email ID which you have given over here, then only you can download it, and you have to download and keep it safe because that is what we required in the ASR connection. Okay, so moving on to step number 3. Okay, now once you downloaded that file, right, now what you have to do in the AEP, go to the system configuration under the speech server. Usually you might have already the nuance. If you have, if you are doing for the first time, just click on add ASR, give any name, doesn't matter, and in the engine type from the drop down select Dialogflow and then select the credentials. This is the same credential which you have downloaded by using this link. Okay, so this is the whitelist credentials provided by Avaya which you can use. If you use your own GCP service account, then it will not work. Okay, click on save and this is done. So step number 3 is done. Now the last step, and the step number 4 is you configure the application. Okay, so again AEP system configuration, go to application and then add application. So in this you can give any name. Okay, over here you have to select type as voice XML, even if you are using the MPP provided def dialogflow.vxml, or even if you are using um, what is that Avaya OD deployed application. Okay, the URL will be different over here, just that. So if you are using the VXML one, then this is the one, and if you are if you are using what is that Avaya OD deployed, then it will be a start URL which you usually get. Okay, now keep this one as no. Okay, in the ASR, once you have added in the step 3, you will see the engine times over here, no as if it is already there, and Dialogflow will also appear. So you have to click over here in this arrow, and this will point to the added Dialogflow will be added to your current ASR engine for this application. Okay. Now comes the Dialogflow configuration. So this is the one step where not much documentation is there. So I play close attention to this one. Okay, now what you have to do is project id. You got the picture. I will show again. So this is the project id that we have to give. Okay, now coming back to the PPT, uh, there are vendor parameters. So this vendor parameter is nothing but this JSON file which you have to give. This is not mentioned in their developer document guide, but will explain you what are the things that is mentioned over here. It's a JSON parameter which you can just copy and paste it over here, in this section. Okay, and then select the credentials, the same credential which you have downloaded from step number 2, using this one. Okay, so once that is also done, now what are the vendor parameter we have to mention. So what is the vendor parameter? This is I'm giving for Dialogflow CX. For ES also the details are same, just that you have to, I think, yeah, no, I think everything is same with Dialogflow ES also. Okay, so this is a JSON parameter in which you have to give model as phone call, provider as v2 beta 1, model variants always use enhance, speech config you can change anything, like this is for one of the audio file which is will you will be hearing back. Okay, now conversational profile, so this is where we have to give the details. First is the display name. So what is the display name? I will go back over here. So this is the display name of your project. So you can see test COVID. So let's say I give test COVID over here. Okay, so this is the one we are giving test COVID. Okay, now automated config. Now again we have to give the whole details, right? So where to get this detail? So what you can do is you can agent link copy and you can paste over here. Okay, now what you will see is the project and from here till end. Okay, so this is https dialogflow com cx, then from projects to end, come to your that here and paste it. Okay, I will show again what it was. You have to select or go to your particular Dialogflow agent, copy, select on agent link. Okay, and paste it in any of the other tab or in notepad. So once I paste it, you will see the details are here. Okay, now you have to just copy and paste and make sure this entry is here in the vendor parameter section. And after that, there is one more step is select a phone number, which I am not able to show over here. But in below this, there is a section called phone number. Select the phone number which is available to your system, AEP1, and then click on save. After that, you can make a call. And this way, the Avaya AEP integrates directly with the Dialogflow CX or ES, which is nothing but Google CCAI. Hopefully, you find this information quite useful. Let me know if you have any comment or doubt in the comment section.